morning, good afternoon, good evening. I've said on a number of occasions that democracy demands that the people, because democracy itself is defined as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. For democracy to work, the said people must hold those to whom they entrust public power and authority to account. Otherwise, democracy does not work. And one of the common consequences of failing to hold leaders to account is that they become big-headed. They start promising you, the people, the moon on a silver platter. And again deliver hell on earth. Here is an example of what I'm talking about.
Ko murukurongei mangoti zizi. Chapwati. Kurukuya Chapwati. Kurukuya Chapwati. Chapwati chinosumuka chibva pasi tirukuronga Chapwati. Enda achimisike kana uri ani Chapwati Chinokupwatisa. Pamota manonoka mukuru ngazve chiuya venomba tinokuzivai munogadza gaba musati maenda kunovhima. Unodzima moto nemasirirai. Kurikuridza miri. Nyama haidi kutanga yaitirwa izvozvo. Zikama unotanga wavhima. Handizve waronga kuti inobatwa. Yobatwa. Kwete kuti usati waronga wotanga wagadza gaba. Mai gadzai gaba ndiri kubata. Ndopaunopedzera wakuzoita chamuka yenyama. Wokuti kana dzvinyu chero unorirova uchiti kundiwane chokudzoka nacho kupi?
This cannot be allowed to go unchallenged. Chamisa and his MDC triple C friends have been on the political platform for the last 26 years. The people have risked livelihoods, limbs, and even many lives to elect them into office, with the understanding that once in office, they will implement the democratic reforms to end the Zanu PF dictatorship. 26 years down the line, including the 5 years in the GNU, when they had the best opportunity to implement those reforms, they've not implemented even one token reform. And yet here we are. They've not accounted for why they failed. They come back every time and give us meaningless promises. Chapwati, Chinokupwatisa, it crashes. And yet, for the last 26 years, including the 5 years in the GNU, they failed to implement even one token reform. So who is he crushing then? What is he talking about? Ben, welcome to the program.
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. Now, I've spoken about, there are deadly similarities between Zanu PF and Chamisa's clan. Their people will not accept criticism of their leaders. They will not accept facts, no matter how clear they are. They will not accept that, even though they don't have evidence themselves, but they will hunt you and they will insult you and do all manner of evil against you, despite you having the evidence. I mean, right now you are speaking about this whole Chapwati that is coming and it's going to crush people, and rightfully somebody in his right senses, you've asked a good question to say, but hold on, for 26 years you've been talking about we are going to be winning, we are going to crush the Zanu PF. You have not done anything yet. What's different now that you are saying this one here is the show crusher? That it's right for you to ask that question, because you are a free thinking individual. Now, somebody that is not free and that has had their mind enslaved will come at you and will insult you for asking a very good question. This is why when you are on the Zanu PF side, and if you ask anything about Mnangagwa and Zanu PF, you're a puppet of the West. And when you go to Chamisa's side and you ask something about Chamisa, why did he do this? Why you're a Zanu PF agent? So none of these guys want to be questioned. Are they not similar now? Those are the similarities that show that we are not going anywhere as a nation. We are not going anywhere as a democratic nation, because democracy, one of its pillars, is by accommodating critics and answering critics, being accountable. Now, if we, the people, cannot then demand accountability and we defend, then we are letting those in public office do as they please. And once they do as they please, we become a failed nation. And that is exactly where we are at. Failed.
It is important to emphasize here again, once again, that the 2008 to 2013 global political agreement was a golden opportunity to implement the democratic reforms. I know some people have failed to understand what that means. But your failure to understand does not change the historic facts on the ground. The primary purpose of the GNU was to implement the democratic reforms and end the de facto one-party Zanu PF dictatorship. That was the primary purpose of the GNU. The MDC leaders failed to implement even one token reform because Mugabe bribed them. He bribed them with the tokens of high office. the E-Class Mercedes-Benz for all the deputy ministers, the ministers, the 2 deputy prime ministers, and Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai himself. For some of us, we thought that was the extent of the bribe. But in the last few weeks, the truth has started to emerge that the MDC leaders received even more lucrative bribes. Here is a commentary run by somebody who knows what he's talking about on that issue.
Bhazi rikafira musango, munhu asina kwaari kuenda bhazi mumu anofara kuti ndo patopumba pake nditori nevamwe vangu pana. Munhu anorwadziwa nekurara musango munhu ane kumba.
Taibadana kumba kwangu.
Amana kumba kugombezi rangu reria. Mana so. But munhu asina imba atete kurara musango. So opposition inomeka sure kuti vanhu vaya vaone minda. But may he so rest in peace Vatsvangirai. Praise ravo vanga vainaro. Chamisa anaro.
Anaro Chamisa. Ane family.
Kana azoramba. Ndoenda newe.
Rikupi.
Ane farm.
Ribi.
I know madress munhu anetsa kuti focha but anaro. Chakudza off camera.
Okay.
Ane mine.
Ane
makaseo.
Yeah?
Yes. Biti. Ane praza. Hauna kumboona ere picture ya Biti achitenga mombe kuna Temba Mliswa. Sekuisa kupraza. One of the biggest beef producers in the Matabeleland region, the Washman Ngwe.
Okay.
Yes, ane praza. Anautenga beneficiary by land reform. But what they did is to discourage their people from acquiring my farms because vaiza kuti munhu akaona something chapiwa nehurumende achapikisa.
Are you for real, Mr. Gansha?
Nomubvunza Washman Ngwe kuti haasi kuita beef here, producer beef here paprasa. Ndonyaenderetsana upo ching'ono gore rere. Handiti kuti stand ya upo ching'ono standard ine painogumira. But vakatotaura nehurumende nemasabhuku ikaextendwa because aita god.
So if the truth be told here, we are stuck in this situation because Chamisa and company sold out in implementing reforms. And the very fact that he is now coming back and promising us to form a party that will crush everything in front of it, when in the last 26 years and counting, he has failed to do even the most basic things, even when he had the opportunity to do so, speaks volumes. And the volumes that it is speaking is that we have let ourselves down. Because in 26 years, we have failed to hold people like Chamisa to account. It is disappointing to see his audience in that video cheering and applauding him. And yet, they are the ones who are supposed to hold him to account. You can't keep on promising new things when for 26 years and counting, you failed to deliver even one simple thing. This is an outrage. And the people of Zimbabwe have got to wake up.
What I find very disappointing is how politicians can waltz in and out without being questioned. They can stand up on the podium and speak, do interviews and speak out, and then they go and do the exact opposite and remain unscathed or untouched. I mean, we can go, for example, Emerson Mnangagwa, he bragged he was a constitutionalist and he was going to do his terms and be out. But here he is, planning to extend his stay. And then you can go over onto the opposition. Chamisa bragging that even God himself has already ordained it, that we will win the elections. We have already planned, and the cabinet and everything is sealed. I mean, knowing Zimbabweans and their fear for God, they believed such nonsense. And then after he lost, he disappeared, took a sabbatical. No, let me be. And he went. Now he comes back. I'm back with a new, bigger thing, a Chapwati. I'm going to destroy everything. You just lied. How can you just allow someone to lie after you have risked so much from them, and just get away with it scot-free? And I'm asking those that support blindly when they are facts, because the guy stood up. I think we are our own worst enemy, because we have now taken upon ourselves to do the dirty work or to do the PR work for our leaders, thus making them untouchable demigods. This is why Zimbabwe is a failed state. And I believe it's not only the leaders that are, there's many Zimbabweans out there that keep on defending without even a fact or any truth to support their claim. Chamisa lied to us, not once, not twice, on numerous occasions. He even lied about even meeting Trump when he never even did anything like that. But that's water under the bridge. It doesn't matter. He's our leader. Don't question that. You're a Zanu PF operative. You're a Gananda. And you start swearing people that are asking for that accountability. And yet you want a democratic Zimbabwe. It doesn't work that way. Democracy demands that we hold them accountable. You said this, you promised this, you did not deliver. Out with you. That is what democracy is all about. I have seen a prime minister of a country get chased from office or lose his post in his office because of breaking COVID rules. COVID rules that he came up with. And he was out. Now somebody can lie to you and promise you so much and deliver absolutely nothing. And you stand by him. No, don't touch him. Leave him. It's okay like that. Let him continue lying to us. We want those lies. That is what we are saying as Zimbabwe. And unless we change and remove the chains in our heads and in our minds, we will be slaves to the politician of Zimbabwe.
So I'd like to reiterate the subject I started at the very beginning. That democracy demands that all leaders must be held to account. That is not negotiable. In this particular case, is even more pertinent because at the present moment, for the last 46 years, we've been stuck with the Zanu PF dictatorship. Our hope of ending the dictatorship has been entrusted on the opposition to implement the democratic reforms. Our failure to hold those opposition leaders to account why they failed to implement even one democratic change in the last 26 years, including the 5 years in the GNU, is absolutely necessary. Because where else are we going to get change if those we have entrusted to bring about the change, we are failing to hold them to account? I have said it many times. Chamisa and his fellow MDC CCC leaders are corrupt, incompetent, liars, and conmen. That is a historic fact. Our failure to accept and acknowledge that reality speaks volumes and explains why 46 years after independence, we are still stuck with a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical regime. It is not that because Zanu PF or its leaders, Mnangagwa, Mugabe, are clever. It's because we have failed to send smart opposition leaders who would have implemented the reforms by now. And we, even after 26 years, including 5 years in the GNU, we have not been smart enough to realize that the opposition leaders that we have entrusted the task of implementing the reforms are up to no good. Let me repeat. All leaders, all those in public office, must be accountable to the people. And it is a secret duty of all the citizens to hold leaders to account. That is not negotiable. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.